So I was in Elevate Club and then some other coaching, different like coaching things that she did. But I always kind of put off the mastermind because I felt like I wasn't at the level I needed to be yet, which is totally crazy. But yeah, so before joining the mastermind, I've kind of just felt like I was by myself alone, and you kind of get into like you're just working and you're in the grind all the time and you kind of like are just going through the motions and you like lose your passion for like what the purpose was. I was just working a lot, starting to burn myself out. Before the mastermind, it was a lot of like hustle culture, like you have to work really hard. And it's a lot of like inner work too, and like knowing that you're worthy of this life just because you don't have to like do anything to like get to this point that doesn't actually exist before you're like allowed to live that life. So it was a lot of like negative kind of self-talk and like, oh, I'm not as good as these other people and, all of that kind of stuff. So since joining, I have increased my collections by 50%, working less than I was. Setting good boundaries. My days off are my days off. I'm not going into the office to see patients on my days off or like, staying late to see people. I am taking time off work. I'm going on vacation, which is the first year since opening my practice that I've done that. And my revenue has gone up. Because I've been coaching with Nona for a while and like doing a lot of the mindset things, I think the biggest shift is actually being in a group of people that are working towards some of like similar things. Maybe we all have different goals and we all have a different idea of what success is, but we're all like working to better our life. And so being in that group weekly, kind of like hearing from other people and they're expanding me on like, oh, I didn't even realize that was a possibility. And we're holding each other accountable. Like having that group weekly to check in has been just a huge change because instead of it being like these really highs and these like really low lows, it kind of keeps me like at more of a steady level because I'm checking in every week. But being an entrepreneur can be really lonely. And so having like a group of people that understand what you're going through to like lift you back up as well has been a really important piece for me. I have not taken a vacation since opening my practice. And so being able to like, okay, and because I'm a solo practitioner, if I take a vacation, I have to close the office. And so being able to take a vacation, but like being okay with it and not seeing a dip in my revenue at all has been a really big win. Just like being more confident in myself and the connections that I've made in like my community with other entrepreneurs and business leaders in this area has been a huge win for me. And then I think, just like learning to love where my life is right now instead of constantly like, okay, hit this goal, what's the next goal? And like never being at a place where like I just really, really love my life. That's been a really big, big win for me too. And like, even though I know like we don't have to hustle to make money, like I know that from a mindset perspective, it's still really easy to fall into that when you're just like on this lonely island by yourself and you kind of get into like these scarcity modes and you're like, well, I have to do all of these things now because like my revenue is dipping or whatever, instead of like being surrounded by that energy weekly that's kind of keeping me in that good mindset around good people. I closed a couple weeks ago just to see my niece's dance recital. And like that's something I probably would have just said no to in the past. So just being
Whoa.
able to like live life and like experience it and not just working all the time. I would say just join. It's 100% worth it. I know from I joined when I was still kind of like new in like practice ownership. And so I felt like if this is like a money commitment issue or like whatever, it's gonna be totally worth it. Like just being surrounded by people that are already where you want to go, you're gonna like have hit those goals so much quicker. But then just from like a life fulfillment perspective too, like it's so worth it. You're not gonna regret it, I promise.